Welcome back to the channel. What if some of the most incredible structures on Earth were built thousands of years ago, with a technology we still don't fully understand? Across the world, ancient civilizations created massive stone monuments so precise and so mysterious that even modern engineers are amazed. In this video, we're exploring 5 incredible ancient megalith mysteries that continue to puzzle historians and archaeologists. First, the Pumapunku anomaly in Bolivia, where gigantic stone blocks are cut with astonishing precision. Next, the mysterious Al-Nazla monolith in Saudi Arabia, a massive rock perfectly split in half as if by a laser. Then, we travel to South Korea to discover the Trilithic dolmens, some of the largest prehistoric tomb structures ever built. After that, we explore Japan's giant Kofun burial mounds, massive ancient tombs shaped like keyholes. And finally, the breathtaking Kailasa Temple in India, an enormous temple carved from a single solid rock. But before we uncover these ancient mysteries, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and comment below which ancient structure fascinates you the most. Now, let's dive into the world of ancient megalith wonders. Let's go. The Pumapunku anomaly. Some places in the world make you feel small the moment you see them. Not because they are tall mountains or deep oceans, but because of the questions they quietly ask. There is one such place high in the Andes Mountains of Bolivia, where cold wind moves slowly across a wide stone field. At first glance, it may look like a group of broken rocks, but when you look closer, something feels strange, almost impossible. This is the mystery of Pumapunku. Many people travel far to see this place. When they arrive, they expect ruins like many other ancient sites around the world. Old walls and rough stones, maybe a few carvings. But Pumapunku is different. The stones here do not look random. They look planned, carefully shaped, cut in ways that make visitors stop and stare for a long time. And that is where the mystery begins. Imagine standing there early in the morning. The air is thin because the site sits more than 3,800 meters above sea level. The sky feels very close. The ground is quiet. Around you lie massive stone blocks, some weighing more than many cars put together. But the shocking part is not just their size. It is the way they were cut. Some stones look almost like giant puzzle pieces. Many have perfect right angles. Some have smooth, flat surfaces that feel almost modern. There are shapes that look like the letter H, carved deeply and precisely. Holes drilled straight into stone, as if someone used powerful tools. Now, here is the question that keeps people talking for years. How did people thousands of years ago make something like this? The official history says Pumapunku was built by the people of the ancient city of Tiwanaku civilization, which lived in this region long before the Inca Empire became famous. Archaeologists believe the site was built around 500 to 1,000 years ago, possibly even earlier. These people were skilled builders. They understood stone, balance, and structure. But even with that explanation, many visitors feel something unusual when they walk through the ruins, because the cuts in the stone are incredibly precise. Some blocks fit together so tightly that even today it is hard to slide a thin blade between them. The corners look sharp and clean. The surfaces are flat and smooth in a way that feels almost like machine work, and this is happening in a place where, according to history, the builders only had stone tools, simple hammer stones, and copper tools. So naturally, people ask questions. Did they really build this with simple tools? Or was there something more we still do not understand? This question has turned Pumapunku into one of the most talked about ancient mysteries in the world. Some researchers study the stones carefully, measuring them again and again. Others believe the site shows advanced engineering knowledge that people often underestimate. And then there are those who think something very unusual may have happened here. When you walk among the stones, you start noticing details. Grooves cut perfectly straight. Angles that repeat again and again. Small channels carved into the blocks. Holes placed in very specific positions. These were not random shapes. It feels like parts of a larger structure that once stood here. Experts believe Pumapunku may have been part of a huge ceremonial complex. Some think it was a temple platform. Others believe it had religious meaning connected to the sky, the sun, and the stars. Ancient people in this region were known to watch the heavens carefully. Their buildings often aligned with the movement of the sun during special times of the year. But the mystery deepens when we look at the stones themselves. Many of them were not even found where they were first placed. The site appears damaged, scattered, almost exploded across the ground. Huge blocks lie far apart from each other. Some researchers think earthquakes could have caused this destruction long ago. Others believe the collapse happened over time, as people removed stones or as nature slowly broke the structure down. Yet, even in this broken condition, the precision is still clear. One of the most famous features of Pumapunku is the H-shaped blocks. They are carved with deep cuts and exact measurements. What makes them interesting is that many of these blocks look almost identical. This suggests the builders had a clear design and repeated it many times. That means planning. That means understanding measurements, and that means organization. Imagine ancient builders working at this high altitude, carrying huge stones across the land. Some of the stone used here came from quarries many kilometers away. One type of stone, called andesite, is extremely hard. Shaping it is not easy even today without modern tools. So, how did they do it? Researchers believe the builders used a combination of hammer stones, polishing techniques, and a lot of time. When people are determined and skilled, they can achieve amazing things even without machines. Human history is full of examples where ancient societies built incredible structures using patience and teamwork. Still, many visitors say the cuts feel too perfect. That is why Pumapunku often appears in documentaries and mystery shows. Some people claim the site proves that ancient civilizations were far more advanced than we think. Others go even further and suggest lost technology or unknown knowledge that disappeared over time. But there is another possibility that many scientists talk about quietly. Maybe we simply underestimate ancient people. Sometimes we assume that because a civilization lived long ago, they were simple. But that is not always true. People thousands of years ago were intelligent, creative, and capable of solving difficult problems. And maybe Pumapunku is proof of that. Still, standing there, it is hard not to feel a strange sense of wonder. The stones almost look like they belong to a different time. The straight lines and geometric shapes feel modern, even though they are ancient. The location itself adds to the mystery. The site sits near Lake Titicaca, one of the highest large lakes in the world. Long ago, the area around the lake was a powerful cultural center. The Tiwanaku civilization built large monuments, roads, and temples. Their society was organized and strong for many centuries. But then something happened. The civilization slowly declined. The reasons are still debated today. Some experts believe climate changes caused problems with farming. Others think social or political issues weakened the society. Over time, the city was abandoned, and the once powerful center faded away. The ruins remained. Wind, rain, and time slowly changed the place. Stones fell. Structures collapsed. Some blocks were moved by later people who used them for other buildings. And yet, the heart of Pumapunku stayed. When modern researchers began studying the site more closely, they realized how unique it really was. Detailed measurements showed the builders used advanced planning. The layout of the stones suggested a carefully designed structure. There is also evidence that metal clamps once connected some of the blocks together. These clamps helped hold the stones tightly in place. Small channels were carved into the stone where the metal pieces were fitted. This technique shows a deep understanding of construction. It also tells us that the builders wanted the structure to be strong and stable. But even today, many parts of the puzzle are missing. We still do not know exactly how the largest stones were moved. Some of them weigh over 100 tons. Moving such heavy blocks across rough land at high altitude is not easy even now. One theory suggests large groups of workers used ropes, ramps, and wooden rollers. Another idea is that they transported stones during wet seasons when the ground was softer. Some researchers think waterways may have played a role when the ancient lake levels were different. Each theory explains part of the story, but not everything. That is why the mystery continues to attract attention. Visitors often walk slowly through the site, taking photos and looking closely at the shapes carved into the rock. Many people feel a sense of respect for the builders. Others feel curiosity that almost turns into obsession. Because the more you look, the more questions appear. Why were the stones shaped in such specific ways? What did the full structure look like before it was destroyed? How long did it take to build? And perhaps the biggest question, why was it built here? Some archaeologists believe Pumapunku had strong spiritual meaning. The people of the Tiwanaku culture believed certain places connected the earth and the sky. Temples were often built to reflect this connection. The alignment of structures may have helped track the sun during solstices or special times of the year. This idea gives the site a deeper meaning beyond just architecture. It becomes a place of belief, ceremony, and identity. When ancient people gathered here, the area may have been full of life. Music, rituals, gatherings, and celebrations might have taken place on these platforms. The stones that now lie quiet on the ground may once have stood tall and impressive. Imagine the structure when it was complete. Large platforms rising from the ground. Carefully fitted stones forming walls and pathways. Priests or leaders guiding ceremonies. Crowds watching the sunrise during important days of the year. It must have been a powerful sight. But time changes everything. Today, the site looks very different from what it once was. Many of the stones are scattered. Some are partially buried in the ground. Others were moved by researchers trying to understand the original layout. The structure is no longer complete, and that adds to the feeling of mystery. Some people who visit feel excitement. Others feel a little sadness. Because we know something incredible stood here, but we can only see fragments of it now. Over the years, Pumapunku has also become popular on the internet. Videos and discussions often claim the site proves ancient aliens visited Earth, or that lost civilizations had advanced machines. These ideas spread quickly because the site looks unusual. But most scientists disagree with those claims. They say the real story is already amazing enough without adding extra theories. Human societies have always been capable of impressive achievements. With enough time, skill, and cooperation, people can create structures that seem impossible at first glance. In many ways, the mystery of Pumapunku is not just about stones. It is about how we see history. Do we believe ancient people were limited, or do we accept that they may have known more than we imagine? That question keeps the conversation alive. Now, let us talk about what the place is like today, because the present situation is just as important as the past. Right now, Pumapunku is part of a protected archaeological area. Researchers continue to study it carefully. Tourism brings visitors from many countries, and that has both good and bad effects. One positive thing is that the site is recognized as historically important. This means efforts are made to protect it. Archaeologists document the stones, measure them, and study how the structure once looked. Some blocks have been repositioned based on research to help people understand the original design. Tourism also helps local communities. Visitors bring economic support to nearby towns. Guides share knowledge about the culture and history of the region. This keeps interest in the site alive and encourages preservation. Another positive side is education. When people visit Pumapunku, they start asking questions about ancient civilizations. They learn about Tiwanaku culture, about Andean history, and about how societies developed long before modern technology. But there are also negative conditions at the site today. Weather is one of the biggest challenges. The area experiences strong winds, cold nights, and intense sunlight during the day. Over time, these natural forces slowly damage the stones. Small cracks can grow larger, and surfaces can wear down. Another issue is tourism pressure. Although many visitors respect the site, some people walk on fragile stones or move small pieces without understanding their importance. Even small actions can cause damage over long periods. There are also concerns about funding and resources. Protecting such a large archaeological area requires continuous effort, trained staff, and proper management. In some periods, there are not enough resources to fully protect every part of the site. And then there is the challenge of misinformation. Many online stories about Pumapunku focus only on extreme theories. While these stories attract attention, they sometimes distract from real research and the true achievements of the ancient builders. Despite these challenges, the site still stands as one of the most fascinating archaeological locations in South America. And now, I want to share my personal opinion about this mystery. When I look at Pumapunku, I do not see proof of aliens or impossible technology. Instead, I see something more meaningful. I see the power of human creativity. I think ancient people were often far more skilled than we give them credit for. They understood stone, design, and teamwork in ways we are still learning about today. Just because we do not fully understand every method they used does not mean it was impossible. Sometimes history surprises us. Every year, archaeologists discover new details that change what we thought we knew. And that is what makes places like Pumapunku so exciting. The mystery is not just about the past, it is also about what we might discover in the future. The present situation at Pumapunku today is a mix of wonder and concern. On one side, the site is protected, studied, and visited by people who admire its history. On the other side, natural damage, tourism pressure, and limited resources create risks that could affect the ruins over time. But even with these challenges, the stones remain, quiet, strong, and full of questions. And maybe that is exactly how this mystery was meant to be. Al-Nazla Monolith. There are some places in the world where a single stone can make people stop talking. Not because it is the biggest rock ever found, but because it looks like something that should not exist. Imagine walking through a quiet desert. The air is dry, the sun is bright, and the ground is covered with sand and ancient rock. Everything looks natural, until suddenly you see a giant stone split perfectly in half. Not cracked in a rough way, not broken like rocks usually break, but divided by a line so straight and smooth that it almost looks like someone used a powerful machine. This is the strange mystery of the Al-Nazla monolith. Many people who first see photos of this stone think the image must be edited. Some believe it is fake. Others assume modern tools must have cut it recently. But when visitors actually travel to the desert and stand in front of it, they realize something surprising. The stone is real, and the cut is real. The monolith stands in the desert of Saudi Arabia near an ancient place called Tema Oasis. This region has a long history. Thousands of years ago, travelers and traders passed through this area. Caravans carrying goods moved across the desert, stopping at oases for water and rest. Civilizations lived here long before modern cities appeared, but even in a place filled with history, Al-Nasla still feels unusual. Let me describe what people see when they arrive there. Two huge stone blocks stand side by side, almost like twin pillars. They are tall, heavy, and balanced on small natural bases of rock. What makes them shocking is the gap between them. A very narrow space runs straight down the middle, dividing the rock into two nearly equal halves, and the line separating them is incredibly straight. It is so clean that many people say it looks like a laser cut. Of course, lasers did not exist thousands of years ago, but that is exactly why this place became famous. The moment someone sees it, a question appears in their mind. How did this happen? Was it made by nature, or was it made by people? That question has created endless discussions among scientists, travelers, and mystery lovers around the world. When you look closely at the stone, you will notice something else interesting. The surface of the monolith has ancient carvings. These are petroglyphs, images carved into rock by people long ago. Some carvings show animals like camels or desert creatures. Others show human figures. These carvings tell us something important. People visited this stone a very long time ago. Maybe the rock already had a special meaning to them. Maybe it was a landmark for travelers crossing the desert. Or maybe it was part of their culture or belief system. But the biggest mystery remains the straight split. Scientists who study geology have looked carefully at Al-Nasla. They say the desert environment can create unusual rock shapes over long periods of time. Wind, heat, and cold slowly change the surface of stones. Sand moving across rock can polish it like sandpaper. Over thousands of years, nature can create shapes that look almost artificial. There is also something called natural fracturing. Rocks sometimes develop cracks because of pressure deep inside the earth. When temperature changes happen again and again, those cracks can slowly widen. In deserts, the temperature during the day and night can be very different. This constant expansion and shrinking of the rock can slowly create splits. But even with this explanation, many people still feel puzzled. Because most natural cracks are not this straight. Usually, when rocks break, the line is rough and uneven. The edges are jagged. Pieces fall in random shapes. But here, the split looks almost too perfect. That is why some people believe the stone was cut by ancient humans. This idea has led to many theories. Some say an ancient civilization with advanced knowledge might have shaped the rock. Others believe the stone was part of a larger structure that disappeared long ago. There are even people who think the monolith shows signs of lost technology from the past. But archaeologists who study the area say there is no strong evidence that tools were used to cut the stone in this way. They believe the most likely explanation is natural geological processes combined with erosion over a very long time. Still, even experts admit something interesting. Al-Nasla is one of the cleanest natural splits ever seen in a rock formation. And that alone makes it special. When visitors walk around the monolith, they often spend a long time examining the gap between the stones. Some try to place their hand inside the space. Others take photos from different angles. From some viewpoints, the split looks even more dramatic, almost like someone carefully measured and cut it. Another strange thing about the monolith is how the stones are balanced. Each half stands on a smaller base of rock, almost like a pedestal. This makes the entire formation look delicate even though the stones are extremely heavy. It creates a sense that the rock could fall at any moment, but it has been standing like this for a very long time. That balance adds another layer to the mystery. How did erosion remove so much rock underneath while leaving the two halves standing? Nature works slowly, but sometimes its results can look unbelievable. In deserts, wind plays a powerful role. Tiny sand particles move across the land for centuries. These particles slowly grind away softer parts of rock while leaving harder sections behind. Over long periods, this can create shapes that look carved. So, one idea is that the split may have started as a natural fracture, and then wind erosion cleaned and shaped the gap. If that is true, then what we are seeing today is the result of thousands of years of slow, natural work. And that is actually quite amazing, because it means nature itself can create something that looks almost engineered. But even with scientific explanations, the mystery feeling remains. Standing near the monolith, people often feel curious and excited. It is the kind of place that makes you imagine stories. You start thinking about ancient travelers passing by this rock. Maybe they also wondered about it. Maybe they believed it had special meaning. In the past, landmarks like this were important in the desert. When everything around you looks similar, a unique rock formation becomes a guide. It helps people know where they are. It becomes part of the journey. And over time, places like this gain stories. Some locals believe the rock has a long connection with the region's history. The nearby area around Tama was once an important center for trade routes across Arabia. Travelers coming from far lands would pass through this region carrying goods, ideas, and cultures. So, it is very possible that many ancient people saw this monolith thousands of years ago, just like we see it today. Think about that for a moment. A rock standing in the desert for so long that generations of humans have come and gone around it. Empires rose and disappeared, cities were built and forgotten, but the monolith stayed, silent and unchanged. And that is something powerful about ancient natural monuments. They remind us how small human time can feel compared to the age of the Earth. Now, let us talk about the modern attention this place receives. In recent years, Al-Nasla has become very popular online. Photos spread quickly across social media. Many videos discuss the mystery of the perfectly straight cut. Some of these videos suggest strange theories, while others try to explain the science behind it. This attention has increased tourism to the region. People from different countries travel to see the monolith with their own eyes. They want to know if it really looks as strange as the photos. And most visitors say yes. In fact, some say it looks even more mysterious in real life. The silence of the desert makes the experience stronger. When you stand there, there is almost no sound except the wind. The open sky and wide land create a feeling that you are looking at something ancient and important. But like many famous places, this popularity has both good and bad effects. Let us talk about the positive side first. The increased interest in Al-Nasla has helped people learn more about the history of the region. Tourism brings attention to the culture and archaeology around Tama and other ancient sites nearby. This can encourage preservation efforts and research. It also helps local tourism development. Visitors coming to the area support guides, transportation, and local businesses. That can improve the economy and bring new opportunities to communities in the region. Another positive effect is awareness. When people become curious about a place like this, they often start learning about geology, ancient carvings, and desert history. A single mysterious rock can inspire many people to explore science and history. But there are also negative conditions affecting the site today. One of the main concerns is environmental wear. Even though the desert is strong, constant human interaction can slowly damage ancient surfaces. When visitors touch carvings or climb on rocks, small damage can happen over time. Another issue is natural erosion continuing its work. The same wind and sand that shaped the monolith over thousands of years are still active today. While this is a natural process, it also means the rock formation could slowly change in the future. Temperature changes in the desert also affect the stone. During the day, the rock becomes very hot, and at night it cools down quickly. This constant change can create new cracks over time. There is also the challenge of managing tourism responsibly. As more people visit, there must be careful planning to protect the site from damage while still allowing visitors to experience it. Some experts believe protective measures and awareness programs are important so that future generations can still see the monolith as it is today. Now, I want to share my personal opinion about the mystery of El Nasla. Honestly, I think the real wonder is not whether humans cut the rock or not. The real wonder is how nature and time can create something that looks so perfect that it confuses us. Sometimes we expect mysteries to have dramatic answers, but in many cases, the truth is even more impressive. If nature created this split slowly over thousands of years, that means the Earth itself can produce shapes that look like advanced engineering. That thought alone is fascinating. At the same time, I also think places like this should be respected carefully. When something survives for thousands of years, we should make sure it continues to survive. The present situation at Al Nasla today is a mix of beauty, curiosity, and responsibility. On the positive side, the site is gaining attention, tourism is increasing, and people around the world are learning about this unique rock formation. On the negative side, natural erosion continues, and growing tourism could cause damage if it is not managed carefully. But for now, the monolith still stands in the desert exactly where it has stood for centuries. Two halves of one ancient stone, separated by a line that still makes people wonder. Trilithic dolmens of Korea. There are places in the world where giant stones stand quietly for thousands of years, watching time pass like a slow river. When people first see them, the first question that comes to mind is simple but powerful. How did humans move something this heavy so long ago? Now, imagine not just one stone, but hundreds of them spread across hills and fields, each one placed carefully as if part of a hidden story from the past. This is the mystery of the ancient dolmens found in Korea, especially the famous group known as the Gochang, Hwasun, and Ganghwa dolmen sites. If you travel to these areas today, the first thing you notice is how calm the landscape feels. Green fields, quiet villages, gentle hills, and scattered stones that look simple from a distance. But when you walk closer, you realize these are not ordinary rocks. These are massive stone structures built by people who lived more than 2,000 years ago, maybe even longer. Each dolmen is made of large stones arranged in a special way. Usually, there are two or more standing stones supporting a huge flat stone on top. Because of this shape, people sometimes call them table stones. In archaeology, this structure is often called a trilithic design, meaning three main stones forming a structure. But here is the part that makes many people pause. Some of these stones weigh tens of tons. Moving a stone like that is not easy even with modern machines. Yet, ancient people moved them, lifted them, and placed them with careful balance. And they did this many times. Korea has one of the largest collections of dolmens in the world. Thousands of them exist across the country, but the sites at Gochang, Hwasun, and Ganghwa are among the most important and mysterious. When archaeologists studied them, they realized these stones were not random monuments. They were part of ancient burial traditions. Many dolmens were used as tombs. Under some of these giant stones, archaeologists discovered remains of people who lived long ago. They also found objects like pottery, tools, and ornaments buried with them. This suggests that the people buried there were important individuals, possibly leaders, chiefs, or respected members of their communities. So, these structures were not only about stone, They were about memory, about respect, about honoring the dead. Now, imagine ancient communities gathering to build one of these dolmens. Hundreds of people working together, pulling ropes, shaping land, lifting stones step by step. It must have taken enormous effort and planning. And this is where the mystery begins to grow deeper. Because even though we understand that these were tombs, many questions remain unanswered. Why did these ancient societies choose such huge stones? Why did they build so many of them in this region? And how exactly did they move these stones without modern tools? When you stand beside one of the dolmens, you can feel the scale of the challenge. The capstone on top can be wider than a small room. Some are taller than a person. The standing stones supporting them are buried deep in the ground to keep the structure stable. This shows something important about the people who built them. They understood balance and engineering. They knew how to place weight in a way that would last thousands of years, and clearly they succeeded, because many of these dolmens are still standing today. Another interesting thing about the Korean dolmens is that they appear in two main styles. One style looks like a table, where stones support a large flat slab on top. The other style has the burial chamber under the ground with a big stone placed above it. This variation suggests different traditions or periods of construction. Some experts believe the designs changed over time as societies evolved. Others think different regions had their own building methods and cultural meanings. But there is something else that makes these dolmens unique: their number. Korea has such a large concentration of dolmens that it suggests something important about the ancient society that lived there. It may indicate that this region had powerful leaders or organized communities capable of coordinating large construction projects. And that means these ancient people were far more advanced socially than many might expect. When we think about ancient times, we sometimes imagine small groups struggling to survive. But sites like these tell a different story. They show cooperation, planning, and strong cultural beliefs. In fact, building a dolmen may have been a major event in the community. People might have gathered for ceremonies, rituals, and collective work. It could have taken days or even weeks to complete one structure. Imagine the scene thousands of years ago. People pulling ropes tied to massive stones, leaders guiding the process, children watching from nearby hills, songs or chants echoing as the community works together. When the stone was finally placed on top, it might have been a moment of celebration and respect, a lasting symbol of someone's importance. But time changed everything. Centuries passed. Kingdoms rose and disappeared across the Korean peninsula. Wars happened, cultures evolved, villages grew and changed. Yet these stones remained in place, standing quietly through history. At some point, many people forgot their original meaning. Farmers worked near them. Travelers passed by them. Stories formed around them. Some people believed the stones had spiritual power. Others thought they were created by giants or ancient heroes. This is something that often happens with very old monuments. When history becomes unclear, imagination begins to fill the space. But modern archaeology slowly brought answers back. Researchers began studying the dolmens carefully. They examined the soil, the burial remains, and the objects found beneath the stones. These discoveries helped scientists understand the timeline of these structures. Most Korean dolmens were built during the Bronze Age, which means around 1000 BCE or earlier in some cases. That means these stones have been standing for more than 3,000 years. Just think about that, 3,000 years of wind, rain, and changing seasons. Yet many are still standing. Another fascinating detail is how the builders likely moved the stones. Researchers believe ancient people used wooden rollers, ropes made from plant fibers, and earth ramps to move and lift the stones. large groups of workers would slowly drag the stones across land. Once the stone reached the site, they probably built a mound of soil or a ramp to raise the capstone into position. After placing it on the supporting stones, they removed the soil, leaving the structure standing. This method required patience and teamwork, but it was possible. And history shows that many ancient societies used similar techniques to move heavy stones. Still, even with these explanations, many visitors feel amazed when they see the dolmens in person, because no description truly prepares you for standing next to a stone that people moved thousands of years ago without machines. You start thinking about the strength and determination of those ancient builders. You begin to imagine their lives, their beliefs, their reasons. One thing that makes the Korean dolmens especially mysterious is how organized they appear across the landscape. Some areas have clusters of many dolmens close together, suggesting that entire communities use these locations as burial grounds. This raises another interesting question. Were these places considered sacred land? Maybe certain hills or regions were chosen because they had special meaning in ancient beliefs. Perhaps they were connected to nature, ancestors, or the sky. Many ancient cultures believed that high ground or open landscapes were important for honoring the dead. These locations may have symbolized a connection between the earth and the spiritual world. When you visit Gangwon Island, one of the major dolmen locations, the view itself feels meaningful. You can see wide landscapes, open sky, and distant water. It is easy to imagine why ancient people might have chosen such a place. The setting itself feels peaceful and powerful. Over time, these dolmens became an important part of Korean heritage. They are not just archaeological objects, they represent the early identity of the people who lived on this land long before recorded history. Because of this importance, researchers and historians worked to protect these sites and study them carefully. Today, the dolmens attract visitors from many countries. People come to see the stones, learn about ancient Korean culture, and experience a connection with the past. Walking among the dolmens can feel very different from visiting a modern city. There is a quiet energy in the area. The stones feel stable and ancient, almost like they are guardians of old stories. But the modern world has also brought new challenges. Let us talk about the present condition of these sites today, because the situation now is very important for their future. On the positive side, the dolmen sites are recognized as historically valuable and protected areas. Many efforts have been made to preserve them. Researchers continue to study them, and visitors can learn about them through museums and guided tours. This has helped people understand the importance of these ancient structures. Education programs and tourism have increased awareness about early Korean history and archaeology. Another positive factor is careful site management. In many locations, pathways and viewing areas are created, so visitors can see the dolmens without touching or damaging them. This helps protect the stones while still allowing people to experience their beauty. Local communities also benefit from tourism. Visitors support nearby businesses, guides, and cultural programs. This helps keep interest in history alive and encourages continued preservation. But there are also negative conditions affecting these ancient monuments. One of the biggest challenges is natural weathering. Over thousands of years, wind, rain, and temperature changes slowly affect the stones. Even though they are strong, erosion can gradually change their surfaces. Some dolmens show signs of small cracks or wear due to long exposure to nature. Another issue is human impact. Even with protection, large numbers of visitors can sometimes create problems. If people climb on the stones or ignore guidelines, it can cause damage over time. There is also the challenge of balancing tourism with preservation. More visitors bring attention and support, but too many visitors can put pressure on ancient sites if not carefully managed. In some areas, nearby development and environmental changes can also affect the landscape around the dolmens. Protecting not only the stones but also the surrounding environment is important for maintaining the historical atmosphere of the sites. Now, I want to share my personal opinion about the trilithic dolmens of Korea. When I think about these stones, I feel that the real mystery is not just how they were built, but why humans everywhere feel the need to leave something lasting behind. Ancient people wanted to remember their leaders, their families, and their stories. They built something strong enough to survive generations, and they succeeded. Thousands of years later, we are still talking about them. That alone is powerful. I also think these dolmens show how organized and thoughtful ancient societies were. They remind us that people long ago were not simple or primitive. They had beliefs, planning, and the ability to work together for something meaningful. Sometimes we underestimate ancient cultures, but places like this prove that human creativity and determination have always existed. The present situation at the trilithic dolmen sites of Korea today is a balance between protection and challenge. On the positive side, the sites are recognized worldwide, protected, studied, and visited by people who respect their historical importance. On the negative side, natural erosion, tourism pressure, and environmental changes continue to affect these ancient stones slowly over time. Yet, despite all of this, the dolmens still stand, just as they did thousands of years ago. Silent witnesses to a civilization that wanted to be remembered. Japanese kofun. There is a moment when you fly over certain parts of Japan and notice something strange on the ground. At first, it looks like a green island surrounded by a wide moat. But then you realize something surprising. The shape is not natural. It looks like a giant keyhole carved into the land. From above, the design is clear and powerful. From the ground, however, it almost disappears into the quiet landscape, covered with trees and silence. This is the mystery of the ancient Japanese burial mounds known as kofun, especially the massive tomb called Daisen kofun. When people first hear about these structures, they often imagine something small or simple. But the reality is very different. Some of these mounds are among the largest tombs ever built on Earth. In fact, one of them is so huge that it is larger in area than many famous monuments in the world. And the most surprising part is this. These giant tombs were built more than 1,500 years ago, long before modern machines, long before modern cities, long before many parts of the world even had large organized states. Yet in ancient Japan, people built enormous burial mounds shaped with precision and meaning. Let us imagine standing near one of these kofun today. At first glance, it looks like a small forest on top of a hill. Trees grow thickly, birds move quietly between branches, and the area feels calm. A wide moat filled with water surrounds the mound, creating a peaceful reflection of the sky. But what you are really looking at is not just a hill. You are looking at a royal tomb. These kofun were built during a period in Japanese history known as the Kofun period, which lasted roughly from the 3rd century to the 6th century. During this time, powerful leaders ruled different regions of Japan. Some of them were early rulers connected to what would later become the imperial line, and these leaders were buried in tombs unlike anything else in the country. The shape of many kofun is very special. From the sky, they look like a keyhole, a round section connected to a square or rectangular section. Archaeologists believe this shape had symbolic meaning, possibly connected to power, ritual, and the belief system of that time. But even today, the exact meaning is still debated. When you walk near one of these mounds, it is difficult to imagine how people built something so large using ancient tools. Workers had to move enormous amounts of earth, shape the land carefully, and create a structure that would last for centuries. Thousands of workers were likely involved. It was not just a burial, it was a statement of power. Imagine ancient Japan more than 1,500 years ago. Leaders wanted to show their authority and importance. Building a massive tomb visible from far away would send a clear message to everyone in the region. This person was powerful. This person mattered, and this memory must never disappear. The largest of these tombs, Daisen Kofun, is believed by many historians to be the burial place of Emperor Nintoku, though full archaeological excavation is restricted because the site is considered an imperial tomb. This restriction itself adds another layer of mystery, because much of what lies inside remains unknown, and that is where the curiosity grows stronger. We know some things about Kofun because smaller mounds have been studied by archaeologists. Inside them, researchers found burial chambers, stone coffins, weapons, armor, mirrors, jewelry, and clay figures known as haniwa. These haniwa figures are very interesting. They were placed on and around the tombs. Some represent warriors, animals, houses, and even daily life scenes. They might have served as protectors of the tomb, or symbols of the world the person ruled. Imagine a huge burial mound surrounded by rows of clay figures standing silently. It must have looked impressive and mysterious in ancient times. Another important detail is how organized these construction projects were. Building a kofun required planning, labor, and leadership. People had to dig moats, transport soil, shape the mound, and arrange stones for stability. This tells us something important about the society of that time. It means there was already a structured system of leadership and workers. Communities were organized enough to build monumental structures that would last centuries. But despite all this knowledge, many questions remain. One mystery is the exact purpose of the keyhole shape. Archaeologists have proposed different theories, but no one knows for sure why that design became so important during that period. Another mystery is what lies inside the largest tombs that cannot be opened for research. Because of cultural and historical respect, many imperial tombs are protected and cannot be excavated. So we are left wondering, what objects are hidden inside? What stories remain buried? Could there be artifacts that might change how we understand early Japanese history? Standing near these massive mounds makes people think about those unanswered questions. The quietness of the place adds to the feeling. Unlike many ruins where you can see broken walls or open chambers, these tombs look almost untouched. Covered with trees and surrounded by water, they feel more like sacred ground than archaeological ruins. And in many ways, they still are sacred. Over time, cities grew around some of these tombs. One of the most interesting examples is how modern urban life now exists near ancient kofun. In some places, houses, roads, and neighborhoods surround these ancient mounds. This creates a strange and fascinating contrast. On one side, modern buildings and busy streets. On the other side, a silent green mound that has stood there for more than 1,000 years. It is like the past and present living side by side. One of the most famous groups of these tombs is the Mozu Furuichi Kofun group. This collection includes many large burial mounds and has been recognized internationally for its historical importance. When researchers study these sites, they learn more about early Japanese politics, culture, and society. These tombs show how power was organized and how leaders wanted to be remembered. But there is also something deeper about them. They reflect how ancient people thought about death. In many cultures around the world, powerful leaders were buried in grand monuments. Egypt has pyramids, China has imperial tombs, and Japan has the kofun. These monuments show that people believed the memory of a leader should last long after their life ended. But here is something that makes the Japanese kofun unique. Instead of tall structures reaching into the sky, they are low, wide, and hidden under nature. Over time, trees grew on top of them. Grass covered their slopes. Water surrounded them like protective rings. It almost feels like the earth itself is guarding them. That peaceful appearance is one reason many visitors feel a deep sense of respect when they see them. But just like other ancient sites around the world, kofun also face modern challenges. Let us talk about the present situation of these places today. On the positive side, many kofun are protected by the Japanese government and historical organizations. They are recognized as important cultural heritage sites. Because of this, strong efforts are made to preserve them. The recognition by international heritage groups has also helped raise awareness. People from different countries now learn about the kofun period and the early history of Japan. Another positive factor is how well many of these sites are maintained. The surrounding areas are often kept clean, and visitors are guided to viewing points rather than allowed to walk freely on the tombs. This helps prevent damage. Modern technology also helps researchers study these sites without disturbing them. Tools like ground scanning, aerial photography, and mapping allow experts to learn about the structure without digging into protected tombs. This means we can still learn while respecting the cultural importance of the site. Tourism is another positive element. Visitors who come to see the kofun help support local communities and museums. Educational centers explain the history behind the tombs, making the experience meaningful rather than just sightseeing. However, there are also negative conditions affecting these sites today. Urban expansion is one challenge. Because many kofun exist in regions where cities have grown, there is always pressure from development. Protecting ancient land in modern cities requires careful planning and strict rules. Environmental factors also affect the tombs. Over time, rain, humidity, and plant growth can slowly change the structure of the mound. Roots from trees may affect the soil layers that form the tomb. Climate changes may also impact preservation in the long term. Another issue is that the full historical understanding of these tombs is limited. Since many cannot be excavated due to cultural protection laws, some mysteries may remain unsolved for a very long time. For historians, this is both frustrating and fascinating, because somewhere under those layers of earth, there may be objects that could explain more about ancient Japan. Now, I want to share my own opinion about the Japanese kofun mystery. To me, the most interesting part is not just their size or shape. It is how they show the balance between history and respect. Many countries excavate ancient tombs completely to learn everything possible. But Japan chose a different path for some of these sites. They decided to protect them as sacred resting places. That choice creates mystery, but it also preserves dignity. And honestly, I think that makes these places even more powerful. When we do not know everything, our imagination becomes active. We start asking questions. We start thinking about the people who lived there long ago. In a way, the mystery keeps the past alive. At the same time, I believe studying these sites carefully using modern, non-invasive technology is important. It allows us to learn while still respecting tradition. Because history is not just about discovering objects. It is about understanding people. The present situation of the Japanese kofun today is a balance between preservation and curiosity. On the positive side, they are protected, respected, studied carefully, and recognized as an important part of world heritage. On the negative side, urban pressure, environmental changes, and limited access to excavation mean that many secrets inside these massive tombs remain unknown. Yet the mounds still remain exactly where they were built more than 1,500 years ago. Quiet, green, mysterious, waiting for future generations to keep asking questions. The Kailasa Temple Monolith. Imagine standing in front of a mountain made of dark volcanic rock. At first, it looks like any other cliff in the landscape of Western India. But as you walk closer, something strange begins to appear. Shapes form in the stone. Pillars, stairways, towers, entire halls carved into the rock itself. Then the truth slowly reveals itself. This is not just a temple built with stones. This entire structure was carved out of a single mountain. Welcome to one of the most unbelievable creations in human history, the Kailasa Temple. Located at the ancient cave complex of Ellora Caves in the state of Maharashtra, the Kailasa Temple is known as one of the largest monolithic structures ever made by humans. A monolithic structure means something carved from a single piece of rock. No bricks, no blocks, no separate stones placed together. Just one giant rock. The temple is believed to have been built during the rule of the powerful Krishna I of the Rashtrakuta dynasty around the 8th century. But the real mystery is not when it was built. The real mystery is how. Because the Kailasa Temple was not constructed from the ground up like normal buildings. Instead, workers started at the top of the mountain and carved downward. Imagine removing thousands of tons of rock from above to reveal a temple hidden inside the mountain. It is like sculpting a statue. But the statue is a massive temple complex. Historians estimate that more than 200,000 tons of rock were removed to create this structure. That is an almost impossible amount of stone to carve without modern machines. Even today, engineers wonder how ancient workers could plan such a complex design before even starting. Because once you carve down into a mountain, there is no going back. One wrong cut, and the entire structure could collapse. Yet somehow, the builders created perfectly aligned pillars, massive courtyards, bridges, staircases, sculptures, and temple towers. Every part connects smoothly with the rest. It is not just a temple. It is an entire architectural masterpiece hidden inside the mountain. When you walk into the complex today, the first thing you notice is the enormous courtyard. The temple stands in the middle like a giant stone palace. Surrounding it are high rock walls carved directly from the original mountain. Massive elephants carved from stone appear to hold the structure as if they are carrying the weight of the temple. The main tower rises almost 30 meters high, carved entirely from the same rock. And every wall is filled with carvings that tell ancient stories. Stories of gods, battles, and cosmic legends from the traditions of Hinduism. Many sculptures show the powerful god Shiva, because the temple is dedicated to him. One famous carving shows the dramatic scene of Ravana trying to shake Mount Kailash, the sacred mountain of Shiva. The sculpture is full of movement, energy, and emotion, all carved from solid rock. But this beauty also creates more questions. How could ancient artists create such detailed carvings inside a structure that was still being carved downward? Some researchers believe thousands of workers may have spent many decades shaping the temple. But even that explanation creates problems. Because when experts calculate the amount of rock removed and the time believed for construction, the numbers seem unrealistic. Workers would have needed to remove several tons of rock every single day for many years, all using simple tools like hammers and chisels. No machines, no explosives, just human hands. Some people even suggest the builders must have used unknown techniques that are now lost. Others wonder if the temple was built faster than historians believe. And that idea opens another mystery. If this structure was built quickly, how did the architects plan such a complicated design with such perfect accuracy? Even modern engineers would need detailed blueprints and computer models to plan a project like this. But in the 8th century, those tools did not exist. Yet the temple stands perfectly balanced even today. Walking through its halls feels like entering a frozen moment of history. The stone corridors are cool and quiet. Light enters through open courtyards, creating shadows across the carvings. Every corner reveals another sculpture, another pillar, another hidden passage. It feels less like a building and more like discovering a secret city carved into the mountain. And that feeling is exactly why the Kailasa Temple continues to fascinate historians, archaeologists, and travelers from around the world. But like many ancient wonders, time has not been completely kind to it. Today, the temple is protected as part of the famous Ellora Cave Complex, which is recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site. This protection helps preserve the monument and attracts visitors from all over the world who come to witness this unbelievable creation. That is one of the positive sides of the temple's present situation. Tourism brings attention, funding, and conservation efforts. Archaeologists continue studying the structure, trying to understand the techniques used by the ancient builders. Modern technology like 3D scanning now helps record every detail of the temple so that future generations can continue learning from it. But there are also negative challenges. Large numbers of visitors mean constant pressure on the ancient structure. Foot traffic slowly wears down the stone floors. Pollution in the air can damage the carvings over time. Weather is another silent threat. Rainwater slowly seeps into cracks in the rock, and over centuries this can weaken parts of the structure. Small pieces of carvings have already started to erode, and because the temple is carved directly from the mountain, repairing it is extremely difficult. You cannot simply replace a broken block of stone. Every part is connected to the same rock. That means preservation must be done very carefully. Even with these challenges, the Kailasa Temple still stands strong after more than 1,000 years, and that alone is amazing. In my opinion, the Kailasa Temple shows something powerful about ancient human creativity. It reminds us that people in the past were capable of incredible engineering and artistic skill. Sometimes we underestimate ancient civilizations because they did not have modern technology. But monuments like this prove that determination, planning, and imagination can create wonders that survive for centuries. The builders of this temple may never have imagined that people over 1,000 years later would still walk through the halls they carved. Yet their work continues to inspire curiosity and mystery. Even today, standing inside the temple, many visitors feel the same question echo in their minds. How did they really do it? The present situation of the Kailasa Temple is a mix of preservation and pressure. It remains one of the most impressive historical monuments in India, protected and admired by the world. At the same time, the forces of tourism, pollution, and natural weathering continue to challenge its survival. Still, the temple endures, carved from a single mountain, silent but powerful, reminding us that some mysteries of the past may never be fully explained.